Hi friends, this is Maggie. Thank you for stopping by today. I really do appreciate it. I'm trying to find another word that I can use instead of appreciate. That's a kind of an overused word, but I really mean it from the bottom of my heart. And I'd like to send some digital hugs to two new subscribers, Julia Williams and Rose. Thank you so much for subscribing. I really appreciate the support that gives me, and I hope you stick with me and enjoy my videos. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so today is the final working day in this Paris Junk Journal. And yesterday, I did quite a bit yesterday. I mean, I put the topper on, although it's not finished. It needs more to me. And I was thinking, I thought about putting these flowers on. I don't really have any lace on the cover or anything, but I'm going to wait to put the embellishments on the cover. For one thing, I put my journals in these cloth bags, these drawstring bags, and I store them in a cube. And sometimes the embellishments that are on the front can get smashed or get, come off. So I'm just going to wait. I'm going to put them in the bag with it so I know kind of what I wanted. But once I list them, once I open my Etsy shop and I list them, then I will make sure that the embellishments are on there. I also added this little charm or dangle, whatever you want to call it, in here just so it can kind of come off. And I added off camera, I added some lace to some of the pages. I like the way lace looks on the edge or the bottom of a page sticking out. So all I really need to do today is finish these dangles. I hope I can do this on camera. I've got 3 right here. I'm going to attach 2 here and then another one to the journal. Now I've just been doing this recently where I make some of these dangles and then just attach them to the thread that I use oh my goodness, Maggie, just say it. Just sew my journal together. And, but the last 2 journals I made, I've just been making some dangles and tying them to it. I don't know which I like the best. In some ways I like the ones that I just add the beads to these strings, because it's just something that they just hang different, and it's just to me they're very tactile, and I just like the way they feel. But for this journal for now, I am going to just add these dangles that I made. I don't know if you can see them or if this will do them, but here they are. These are 3 that I already had made. I was kind of making a lot of them, and I'm going to add that pink rose, this flower, and this heart. I don't have any specific Paris charms, but I think these will work very well. So all I need to do to these is to add a jump ring, and that's the most fiddly part to me, and the part that I don't like the best. But we're going to give it a go. I've got this little box of charms here. I've got tons and tons of charms. I should really go through and organize them in some fashion or another. Last year I made a couple of, I think maybe I'll use this pink flower instead of the white. I made a couple of old hippie women journals, and they were so much fun. So I have a lot of charms that kind of represent that. I've got some little keys. I've got these hearts. Maybe I like this heart better. Well, they're basically the same, but this one's a little brighter. So I've got some kitty charms. I got doggy charms. I even got a zebra charm. I mean, I think it's a zebra charm. I know it's hard to see the stripes and all, but I'm not sure why I have that. I got some beautiful bumblebee charms, but the only problem with these, they're so pretty, but they really have to be glued down because they don't have a little hole for the jump ring to go through. So anyway, there you go. I've got many more charms than this, and I'm not bragging about it. I just, for some reason, have collected a lot of them, so they do come in handy. All right, so all three of these have. So we're just going to do this and get it done, right? The video I made yesterday about, oh, excuse that noise, the Paris journal, I wasn't sick. It's not that I was sick. Nothing was really wrong with me. I was just having one of those very, very sluggish days. And I don't like the way I feel when I have times like that. I really don't. It's so, oh, this is red. I don't really want red. I thought it was pink. I don't really like to feel like that, and I don't like to make my videos when I feel like that, and I wasn't even going to post the video. Unfortunately, it was an extra long video that I made because I wasn't sure how long I'd been on, and my battery up and died on me. So yeah, I'm so sorry. It wasn't my best work, that's for sure. I could put a little key. There we go. And I do want to kind of move on, you know. We can't get stuck on things. Even though it's been delightful to make this journal, there's so much more that I would have and could have said to you about my daughter, mine and my daughter's adventures. We really had a time of it, and maybe, you know, I'll probably talk about it from time to time as time goes on. So I truly hope everybody is doing well today. Today is Tuesday for me. I hope you had a nice Memorial Day. We did end up going to my husband's gravesite. Yesterday was a very rainy, stormy day, and I think we're in for a lot of that kind of weather this week. So I wasn't going to go. I don't know quite how to say this. This is why this is so fiddly for me. I don't know quite how to say this or to explain it so that it makes sense. But to us, my daughter and I, oh my goodness, come on, Maggie. To my daughter and I, his resting place, and he's buried at a military veteran cemetery. So, and they always put flags on all of the graves. All of the graves have flags on them on Memorial Day, and I think we read, or somehow, I gotta grip this really good, that there's more than 150,000 veterans buried there. So it's quite a sight to see all the flags and all of that. I'm so thankful that they do honor our veterans. And of course, not every not every veteran has the right, has the privilege of being buried in one of those. Oh, for heaven's sakes, come on now. Now, if this is going to just take me a lot of time, I'm just going to do it off camera, and you will, but you'll get the idea. And just get one, then I'll do the rest off camera. I'm not going to spend an hour. I don't know why. I just got to really squeeze this hard so it doesn't let loose. Now, when you're doing these jump rings, the key to them, I think it's most helpful to have two of these little, kind of needle nose pliers. And you just want to separate them sideways. You don't really want to pull them apart. And sometimes it's where the trick comes in. Because if you pull them apart, like this way, then they're not going to go together right. Whereas if you separate them sideways, they usually come back together very nicely in most cases. Now, this one's not because I'm fiddling with it, and because I'm trying to do it on camera. But then you can just kind of squeeze them back together. Do as I say and not as I do. This seems to be one of those cases. Okay, so I'm just pulling these back together. There we go. Okay, so there. All right, so all I'm going to do is tie this. I leave my strings really long because until I get to this point, I'm not sure. And I just want them to dangle just below. I don't want them to get caught up in the journal because that just adds even more bulk. And this journal became a lot fatter than I intended for it to be. So, but that's okay. So I'm just tying, I tie 3 knots. I guess you really only have to tie 2, but I tie 3, and it's a good idea to put a little bit of like Fabri-Tac or something on here to keep it, that will really keep it from unraveling. I'm not good about doing that, or I say I'm going to do it, and so I just leave a little out. I'll cut this off later, but for now I'm just going to leave a little extra length. Okay, now let's pick a different color. Maybe this pink one. I'll put the pink rose. I hope you can see me. Barely. So I need a jump ring. Now, if you haven't done made these sort of little dangles for your journals, they're a lot of fun. They really are a lot of fun to make. I enjoy making them. And I need to sit down and have kind of another mass make of them, because I love to put them in my journals. Jewelry making tools. You can buy a set of jewelry making tools on Amazon. I think I got these on Temu, to be honest, and they were very, very reasonable. That was one thing about Temu. You could get, and I've said this before, these crafting supplies so inexpensively. And I know there's a lot of controversy about shopping at Temu, and I don't want to get into all of that. But things have changed, and we don't know really what direction things are going to take. So right now I am not shopping on Temu for various reasons. In actual fact, For one, I now have this YouTube channel, and I know we can all do what we choose to do, but I want to also be responsible and not set a bad example to others who may be watching. I don't want to get involved in any controversy, that's for sure. So now if this one will just close on me, I'll be a very happy camper. See, this is the part to me that's very fiddly. Part of it's because my hands are not as strong as they could be. So I'm just kind of bringing these, see, I took it out this way, which is the correct way, so I'm just trying to bring these back together. And there we go. Yeah, so enough said about that. I'm currently not shopping on Temu. I don't want to get involved in any controversy, because that's definitely not what this channel is about. But anyway, these are fun to make. And actually, you know, beads, I never was interested in making jewelry. Never, ever, ever. It never interested me in the least. So when I saw these done on YouTube, I thought, I don't know. But the tools to make them, like I said, are very reasonable. They're even fairly reasonable on Amazon. I can't tell you how much they are because I don't know, but I have looked at them before and I know that they're not super expensive. Okay, so this is the last one. Now yesterday when I was done with this, with my video yesterday, I did draw my next video. And this is how I wreck my nails, because I use this hand instead of using the pliers like I should. There. I did draw my next video, which is the nurse video. Which is a nurse. I drew my next journal, which was nurse, and so that will be the next journal that I make, is a nurse journal. Now, the reason I'm making it is because I've already made a nurse journal. I made one last year, and I'm going to do a flip through for you. And you'll probably be able to, if you've been watching me and you've watched me make this journal. Okay, where'd it go? Where did you go? All right, I'm going to try this one more time. If I'm not able to get it, then I'm going to move on, because I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. Oh, it's Maggie. It's right here. It didn't go anywhere. I do the nurse journal, the nurse, and so that's the journal I'm going to be making. And it's been a little over a year. It was not too long after my husband passed away, maybe 2 months after he passed away, because we did go to Ireland. We thought going at the time we did, would help us to refocus, and my daughter and son-in-law had promised my husband that they would take me. My son-in-law is from Ireland. All his family is still in Ireland. He came to America when he married my daughter. I love him dearly. He's wonderful to me. He's like a son. And I appreciate him so much. And he's a good father. He's a good father. And a good husband. All right. Where did it go? Now it disappeared. See, I could make dozens of these charms, but when it comes to putting these jump rings on, it's not. And I could make these because there's a different type of pin that you can use to make these, or a different type of, yeah, I think it's called a pin, to make these. And it's got a little like bulb on the end, so you wouldn't need to really put it, you know, you don't need a jump ring if you're not going to put a charm on it. That's the only reason you need the jump ring. And then these pins, they come with one end curled, but then you curl the other end. That keeps the beads on there. And I can make some of these one day on camera just to show you how I do it. The charms themselves are very, very easy and fun to make. It's this part that I find most frustrating. But we're going to get this. If we don't get it quickly here, then we'll put it aside. I can't even see them. Can't see what, there it is. Grab that really good. Oh, for goodness sakes. Come on, don't be so obstinate. Alright, so this one doesn't want to get made. I will do it off camera, but I've got my two added here. And I will put a little bit of glue on that and then cut the string off. But, so this pretty much completes it. That little dangle there that I didn't finish will go on the edge here someplace, like this one. Just to hang off. So let's just do a quick flip through and then we will tie her up and say goodbye to her. Let me put these tools away real quick. Okay, let me put this all away here in this little bowl. Alright, so here's the front cover. Like I said, I do want to add some more to this, but I'm still not sure what. And until I am more sure, I'm just not going to start gluing things on here. This is the spine. I put some black lace over the spine and then just put my ribbon tie underneath it all to secure it. Got two pockets here with lace trim and a couple of cards for journaling. I'm not going to spend a lot of time with this. This is some lace I added here. These are one of the cards that were inspired, journaling cards that were inspired by Kate at Ink Paper Art. These were her photos kept from her YouTube, not YouTube, from her Etsy shop that I had linked before. And there's 3 of these throughout the journal. My Franken paper, which I'm going to make some more of this. I love putting it in the journals. And I love this particular pocket and tag. It's a tuck spot actually. And then this is my, not my, it's something that I learned from somebody else. An journaling spot. Goes back together like this and slides in a pocket or tuck spot. Okay. There's a lot of journaling space in this journal. I try to do that with all of my journals. This is another one of those cards. I really like those. I think they're so cute. Some packing paper. This is pretty stuffed with stuff. With some tags and journaling cards. Same here. These were from our master boards. Both of these are from one of the master boards. Tag and a small journaling card. This is our antiquarian fold that I also love. All the little highlights of Paris. My daughter and I didn't even see all there is to see. You know, we hit kind of the highlights. Because we were driving, we did get to see a little bit more of the country. Very beautiful. Of course, the United States is a very beautiful country too. I'm very proud of the United States. This is our little waterfall. Easy waterfall. Easy, easy, easy waterfall. Easy peasy. This also came from ink paper art. Thank you, Kate. Another one of those cards. When I add lace to the bottom, quite generally I'll add it where there's a pocket. And it kind of goes, the pocket kind of ends here, and that's where the lace begins. Of course, some of this lace still needs to be trimmed. Same thing here. I like to bring it up, my pockets up a little bit, because I've noticed when I don't do that, it gets really bulky on the bottom, and so the bulk isn't distributed evenly. And I just attach this dangle to this, or charm, whatever you want to call it, to this lace, and with a little bulb pin, and put this right through there so it should stay on. And it can be moved around, you know. The pin makes a very small hole. Franken paper. Just a doily with some stenciling. Yesterday when I made my video, I noticed when I was editing it, I said stamping. But no, I was just using a stencil. Obviously you could see that, but that's not what I said. Here's the little folio I made. I like to put these in my journals of some sort. I like this particular one because it's a little flatter than some of the others. It does have this little writing space in here, kind of tucked away. And a pocket with a little card and a little tag. And this paper is not the thickest. It is cardstock, but it's not very thick. So I just closed it with this little tiny Velcro dot. I get those on Amazon. And I like them because they're small. Another pocket, pretty well stuffed, and then here's my trifold. I was going to put another trifold in here. I have it pretty much ready, but I think because the journal is so chunky. So here, back here is some writing space. And this could also be decorated, and I was going to decorate it, but I decided that if someone does receive this journal at some point, there's enough ephemera back here in this pocket that, or they might want to just write on it. That's fine. You could write on here over these Eiffel Towers. But on the other side, you have the Arc de Triomphe. And I'm not saying it right, I know. And this picture looks like it was taken back in the 1800s. Could you see the horse and buggy and people, the way they're dressed and everything? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful monument. The Sin River, Sign, I'm not sure again how to pronounce it. Forgive me. And here's the envelope that I made, and you probably can't see, but I don't want to take everything out. It's got a lot of pieces of ephemera in there that one could use to, you know, decorate the journal further if they so desire. And here's the back page with a couple of journaling cards and the writing board. That's nice and firm. So there you have it, my friends. This is the Paris journal, and you can say goodbye to her for now. She may resurface again. You never know. You never know. I don't know what the future holds. Okay, so I'm going to set her aside. Now I pulled out the nurse journal, the nurses, to make my next journal. I'm also going to start on my channel a Black Friday. Now, when I think of Black Friday, I think of shopping after Thanksgiving, you know, for Christmas, all the sales, everything. I actually only shopped once in my entire life on Black Friday. But Black Friday came from, it had another meaning as well, and I tried to look it up earlier, but our Wi-Fi wasn't working. Let me see if I can find it now. Oh, it's still not working very well. Oh well. So, I'm going to start doing a Black Friday because I really want to make this black and white journal. So I'm going to start Black Friday, and Black Friday will be for me to work on this black and white journal. So I hope that you will come along for that and enjoy it. I think it's going to be fun to make. I don't know why I'm so excited about making that. I'm also going to be dedicating a day a week, at least, to making the journal for my, in memory of my husband. Again, it's not a memorial. It's not intended to be a memorial. It's just to take memories that my daughters and I have of him when we think of him, things that come to our mind, and kind of not replicate or duplicate, but kind of well, the right word that I want to use just isn't coming to mind, but just to remind us, or when anybody looks at it, or when one of my daughters look at it, or they look at it with their children, and they want to talk about their grandfather, they say, oh, this was made, you know, with memories from your grandfather, and this page is because, and there's stories attached pretty much to all of that. So I'm really excited about working on that. Now, when I pulled the nurse journal out, I was not particularly thrilled because I know it's one that I want to do, but it wasn't one that I wanted to do right away. But I'm sticking to what I said I was going to do, at least for now. And so I wanted to show you the nurse journal that I made a little over a year ago, and I made this shortly after. It was just probably a month or so after my husband passed away, and I made an Ireland journal I made the Ireland journal first, but you'll see a difference, I think, in the style of my videos and how I made them. And as I looked through this, because I haven't looked at it in months, I thought, wow, man, I was doing a lot of different things then. How come I'm not still doing some of those things? For instance, one thing is making tassels. I haven't made any tassels in several months. And I do want to do a video on how easy it is to make a tassel. And I will be doing that. Probably, I don't know when, but sometime in the near future. And maybe I'll start making them again for some of my journals. Sometimes I just don't think all journals really need to have a tassel on. I think that's kind of why I stopped making them. So this was the nurse journal. This was, of course, our famous nurse, Florence Nightingale. And on this cover, my covers are all pretty similar sometimes. This one is much different than the Paris journal. But I was making these little, they're called, oh my gosh, what are they called? They come from an area in the UK in England. And they made these circles, they made quilts out of these, and they would make all of these and sell them, and people would make them into quilts. Oh, why can't I think of the name? Anyway, I was making these, and this is the front cover. And at that time, I was also doing a back cover, which I don't do anymore. I think it's overkill. But I did this particular back cover because it kind of culminates in the end of especially a student nurse when she receives her cap. And so that has special meaning to me. I am an RN. I started out as an aide in a local hospital in Saginaw, and then I became an LPN where I worked at the hospital, and then I became an RN. So it was a journey. So here we have the inside. There is a pocket here. I do have this back here. Nursing is an art, and if it is to be made an art, it requires an exclusive devotion as hard as preparation as any painter's or sculptor's work for what is having to do with dead canvas or dead marble compared with having to do with the living body, the temple of God's Spirit, is one of the fine arts. I had almost said the finest of arts, Florence Nightingale. And I think that's quite beautiful. And when I would train a new nurse on the job, excuse me, I would always tell them that nursing is an art. And, art is something that everybody practices in their own way. Just like making junk journals, this is a form of art, and everybody has a different way of doing it, and we can interpret things differently. We can see one person do one thing, and then we can turn around and make the same general thing, but it's so different because it becomes yours, it becomes that person's. And this is about Lady with the Lamp, Florence. She was born in Florence, Italy, in 1820. She died in 1910. She was quite a lady. She really revolutionized bedside nursing. So there's just a lot of elements in here that I really haven't used in a while. I don't even know what this is. It must be a little, oh, it's a little envelope. Oh, it's got some little pieces of ephemera in it. Now, I know I have a lot of digitals to do with nursing, and that's another reason I pulled this out, because I want to see just what I had. I'm hoping I still kept some of the ephemera. I just have to find it. So I don't know when I'll actually be starting on this journal. Probably next weekend or so. I think what I'm going to do is build my bases. I can't get this retied. Build my bases before I start any of them. And I'm not going to do that on camera because I think you've all done that before. So when I was making these journals, I was using file folders. My son-in-law had an overabundance of them, so he gave me some, and I was using them, but I was putting two together and then making my spine. You know, I think this is 3 signatures. So I was making my spine, you know, from how I scored it. And this was working quite nicely, but I noticed, now this has been over a year since this was made, that it kind of didn't stay as stiff as I like, and that's why I started using the chipboard. It seemed to warp a little bit. Okay, so let's just flip through here. I've got a lot of vintage pictures in here. There's a quote from Catherine, from Duchess of Cambridge. Now she's not Duchess of Cambridge anymore, but nurses are always there. You care for us from the earliest years. You look after us in our happiest and saddest times. And for many, you look after us and our families at the end of our lives. Your dedication and professionalism are awe-inspiring. I thought that was a beautiful thing that she said about nurses. So this was a little flip out, kind of a trifold that I did about nursing uniforms, it looks like. Oh yes, here's some patterns and all about how the hat was constructed. You know, nurses here, for the most part, I have seen in very rare occasions nurses wear caps, but it's not typical anymore. They really get in your way. I mean, I wore one I wore one as an LVN, and but I don't think I ever really wore one as an RN. And I was crocheting my edges then as well. And I'm not sure why I stopped doing this, because I think this is so pretty. Wow, and it feels so good. You know, we like the textile things. This is an evolution of the nursing uniforms. It gives a history. See, I just wanted so much in here. I wanted to tell so much about nursing. And the next journal I make isn't going to be like this, but the evolution of nursing. These were digitals. I have no idea where they came from, but I'm going to be looking them up, so I will know where all this came from. I'll probably be reusing a lot of these. I was also making a lot of these as well at that time, doing different page edges. This was just circles. I doubled a piece of scrapbook paper and just, you know, glued them together and then glued this on. So I don't know if you want to say that this year I became a little bit more clinical with my journals, and in that I mean I didn't do, why is it stuck here? I didn't do all this extra embellishment. Why is it stuck in there? And my career was primarily, I did do adult critical care nursing at the beginning of my nursing career. And then I went into pediatrics, and I did pediatric intensive care. Well, I did pediatrics as an LVN, and then as an RN I did critical care pediatrics. And then I went to public health. And then I went to newborn intensive care, which was my love, and that's where I spent most of my nursing career. So this is also a trifold. Different sayings and quotes about nurses. I think this was a watercolor that I did, and I copied it and cut it out. And I gave a nod to male nursing. I felt I needed to do that because we have wonderful male nurses. And this is, did you know male nurses were the first nurses in history, but not only that in history, but not only make up about 10% of today's nurses, make more money than female nurses on average. And when I went into nursing, that was true. That was really true. But it's not anymore. Find nursing more flexible than any other job they've held. That's true. Usually manage to eat for free every shift. That's not necessarily true. It used to be, because it used to be that a lot of the representatives of drug companies or articles that we used in nursing would come in and give free lunches, but there's a lot of times we just didn't get lunch. And then this is just a few more pictures of male nurses. I've worked with some wonderful male nurses. Some of the best nurses that I've worked with were male nurses. Nursing is a wonderful career. If you're a young person and you're contemplating your future, and you have any, or you know somebody in your life that is contemplating nursing, nursing is a wonderful career. But you must go into it for the right reasons. It can't be just to make money. Because I made a lot of money in the last few years that I worked as a nurse. But it has to be about more than that. It has to be about wanting to help people and being with people when they need you. And believe me, I've worked with a lot of new nurses that is not what they... Black history fact: Marie von Britton Brown, nurse and inventor, 1922 to 1999. In 1966, she, along with her husband, invented the first security system. First home security system. Anatomy of a nurse. A mind that is always assessing, eyes that have seen it all, warped sense of humor, warm heart, dry chapped hands, empty stomach, aching back, full bladder, mystery stains on uniform, and tired feet. Yeah, that's the truth too. Okay, this was made in 2024. I did stamp this in here. Made in 2024, limited edition. This is the little pocket that I hand stitched in. And then glued down. Just has a little writing pad in it that swivels out. Looks like this is another little folio of some kind. Oh, it's like a mini journal. Look at these old wheelchairs. My fingers just aren't wanting to work right today. I'm not even sure what paper this is. Oh, that lace needs to be glued down. That's the only thing that's loose. There's this little angle I did. This is kind of older, yeah. And this was a nod to the Red Cross. There's so many ways that a nurse can and this was apparently before I learned to make it in paper clips, that a nurse can create her art, or how she can become, the kind of nurse. This is a little collage of different types of tonics and brain salt and lung tonic, and I'm sure most of them weren't real. Here's another crocheted edge. Same type of fabric, just a different color. Gosh, I really like that. I forgot. Another edge that I did, I just punched out these little flowers. I did it the same way as I did the circles, just, a folded piece of cardstock, and then pasted these on side, back to back. Here's the lamp again. And this is supposed to represent Florence Nightingale, the nurse with the lamp, how she would make her rounds every night with the lamp. It became kind of synonymous with her name. And then a young nurse receiving her cap. And this is on there crooked. Oh, well. All right, so I discovered some old friends in here. I'm very happy about that. I'm glad I went through this. I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, I don't know where this came off of. I hope you enjoyed it. The nursing journal that I'm going to start soon will not be quite this involved, I'm sure. Although I would like to start reusing some of these elements that I was using before. I will remember the name of these little cloth circles. These are the other kinds of things besides fussy cutting or making a master board or my Franken paper that you can just sit and relax and do. You can sit in front of the TV or whatever and make these while you're watching TV or just relaxing. And that's how I made these. And at that time, like I said, I was using the file folders, and then I would put two together and wrap them like I do my chipboard, and then just add the layer of paper on top. So this was my first nurse journal. I always intended to make another one, and so now I'm going to do it. Alrighty, so I am going to get off of here for now. It's been almost an hour. If you stuck with me through the whole thing, thank you. I hope you enjoyed a look back to a year ago of how I do things now and how I did things then. And I'm not sure which one is the better of the two, to be perfectly honest. But anyway, have a wonderful rest of your day, whatever time it is or whatever happening in your life. Be blessed. God bless you. I appreciate each one of you that have watched my videos and that have subscribed. And I just want for you to be blessed and to know that I really, from the bottom of my heart, do appreciate you. And as soon as I find another word that is really more meaningful to me, I will replace appreciate with that word. So anyway, have a wonderful rest of your day. God bless you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.